By now, we all know Madiba dance. Song, music, and dance are an integral part of African culture. And during the dark days of apartheid, many of our leaders imprisoned, music kept them going and their spirits alive. And all of us united in the struggle. Tata Madiba enjoyed dance and music, as we saw in that insert, that there's nobody who doesn't know how to do a Madiba dance, right, Thomas?
Well, I can't do it like he did it. A true African indeed. Joining us in the studio is the incredibly talented musician who opened the show for us tonight. It's Nomfundo Guluva, and she is passionate about music, holds a master's degree in jazz music. Welcome, Nomfundo.
I'm going to do the closer thing. Aluva.
There
you go.
Okay.
High five.
No, I needed to practice the
There you
closer,
go. Yes.
but Nomfundo.
Well tried, Thomas.
You are a scholar in music, not just a singer.
Yes, I am.
I mean, show off about the accolades you have in your musical background.
I mean, apart from, you know, the qualification, the master's degree, I think I hold two really big highlights, one of which was sharing the stage with Mam Sibongile Khumalo in a tribute to Mamire Makeba on the night I graduated my master's, that I wrote on the works of Mamire Makeba. So it was just all incredibly amazing. And then the second was opening for Miss Diane Reeves, who is an incredible African-American jazz singer.
Now,
yeah.
I want to use your scholar's brain, because we never actually had a chance to go into Dad Does Home, see what was on his CD rack. But if you had to suspect the kind of music that he would listen to in his personal time, who do you think he listened to?
I mean, I've read a little bit on the kind of music Dad Mandela loved. And I know for a fact that growing up in the rural Eastern Cape as a schoolboy, he loved old school traditional choral music. So choirs, old school choirs. And then he had a deep passion for classical music, Handel, and Peter Tchaikovsky. And then I think, you know, also then the era of Sophiatown and jazz, which was completely brewing in the, you know, in the hot pot of politics, you know, back in the 1950s. He loved jazz, and, you know, he loved a whole range of genres. So my scholarly mind and my scholarly background says that he had a very vast appreciation of music.
I'm hearing you saying he would be listening to Nomfundo.
And I certainly hope he would.
Which is great. I mean, you do cover versions of great icons like Omire Makeba. How do you connect to that kind of genre, that kind of music as a young South African? And also, how do you connect that with celebrating where we are coming from the apartheid era?
You know, music is more than just a skill. It's something that you inherit from your identity. And the thing about Mamire Makeba is that she used her identity she used music and her identity to really speak about the issues of the time, you know, in her career. And when she got into exile, she realized that, you know, it's not going to do me any favors to try and be like any of the Americans or the Europeans. And she celebrated her Africanness, you know, and she was very young, you know, when she started singing. So for me as a young woman, as a young person, you know, when now I'm exposed to so much Western culture, I hold on to that, you know, onto the Mamire Makeba spirit of saying, I'm black, I'm a woman, and I'm proud, you know, and I'll sing music from home, you know, which is what runs in my veins.
And I'll communicate.
And I'll communicate.
Yeah, as I teach
yes,
through music.
Absolutely, absolutely.
That's absolutely amazing.
As a child of the Eastern Cape yourself, was that an inspiration to you personally on your musical journey?
He was, you know, I mean, I was hearing someone on TV, you know, a young person on television speaking about how when they were young, they didn't quite understand Utata Kanye Kanye Ngubani and the role that he played. And for me, it's so different. I've always been conscious of Utata Nelson Mandela. And I remember, you know, I have vague, you know, memories of when he was released. And I always had a deep sense of knowing that he was an important man. And I had a very deep sense of, I owe my future and I owe my opportunities to this man, you know. So Utata Mandela loved and always was an advocate for education. And so I think for me, the way that I honor his legacy is through education.
Nomfundo, we want you to save a little bit of that voice for later in the show, because we're going to be hearing you sing some more. Thank you so much, Nomfundo, for the recount of the countless musicians that have been a part of your life and amazed you and touched you on your journey. But We will continue with more coming up after this. We're going to be having a discussion about how amazing Tata was in terms of his ability to speak, how much he loved music. We'll also be talking about him as a writer and books, and those who wrote about him will be here in the studio. I cannot wait for the discussion. I think you might cry and even laugh.